So welcome to the webinar, everyone. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. The webinar is going to give you introduction to the Research Data Alliance and the Plenary 19 as a part of International Data Week 2022. Glad to see you all. My name is Irina Hanahoe, and I am event specialist in the Research Data Alliance. And I'm joined today by Hilary Hanahoe, Secretary General in the Research Data Alliance, and both of us are going to be presenting today. Before we start our session, I will run through a few housekeeping details. So the webinar will last roughly 45 minutes and we'll have questions at the end of the session. So if you have any questions during the session, please just pop them in the chat and we will go through them at the end. You can also raise your hand at the end of the session. I would also like to reassure you that we are recording the webinar. So if you have any technical issues or need to leave or would like to share with your colleagues, the recording with the presentation slides will be available. And just a quick look at our agenda. Moving too fast. As I mentioned, there will be two speakers and you can see what we are going to cover today. I would like to introduce Hilary and we'll give you a first talk, where she will give you a first talk and overview of International Data Week and introduction to the Research Data Alliance.
Thanks so much, Irina. And thank you, Françoise, Dominique and Lindsay for joining us. They were a very small group, but that's okay. As Irina said, we're recording as we have members in all over the world. So the recordings are very valuable for them. And it's nice to speak to an audience. So I'll tell you a little bit about International Data Week, a little bit about RDA, and then in practical terms, how you can navigate, if you like, the event and the program for the Research Data Alliance. And Irina will then help us through more pragmatic things around registration, the platform that we will use. And as Irina said, please do feel free to ask questions at any time. As we are such a small group, it's fine, even though we're recording it, it's also fine to put them in the chat or intervene if you wish. So International Data Week, as you can see, is taking place from the 20th to the 23rd of June in Seoul in the Republic of Korea. The theme for this event is Data to Improve Our World. We had originally scheduled IDW2022, as we refer to it, for November 2021. But given the global pandemic situation, we wanted to wait to see if we could have some in-person presence. So we are excited and also a little, well, shall we say, worried, I suppose, about how to see how our first hybrid, truly hybrid International Data Week will turn out for us. So if you could go on to the next slide, please, Irina. So what is International Data Week? So CODATA and the World Data System and the Research Data Alliance have collaborated together for many, many, many years. And I'll talk about it afterwards, but CODATA and the World Data System were organizing PHI Datacon events since 2014, every 2 years. And the Research Data Alliance organizes plenary meetings every 6 months. And while those two events are very different in their format, actually the objective and the attendees, or the target audience, if you like, in some ways are quite similar. And so we decided to host or hold International Data Week every 2 years, though we have had a gap since 2018. So the concept or the objective, our goal, is to bring together this very large and representative part of the global data community to improve science and society through data-driven discovery and innovation. And of course, our attendees, or our target audience, if you like, are very broad, covering many parts and stakeholders in the data landscape, if you like, or ecosystem. So from researchers to industry, to policymakers, funders, and of course, data stewards. And one important thing is that it's, of course, we're very glad to have the virtual component, because this allows for more worldwide, if you like, participation. And also we are open to all disciplines. So it is convened, I think on the next slide we say, this International Data Week, the founding organizations are the Committee on Data and the World Data System, both from the International Science Council and of course the Research Data Alliance. And the event itself is hosted by 6 very, very important Korean institutes, as you can see, and universities, and the National Library, of course, and it is underwritten and supported by the government. So it's a very high-profile event for the Koreans, and we are delighted to finally be able to go there and to host the event and for it to take place. I think we decided that Korea was the place in 2017, so it's been a long time coming. So in the next slide, I give you, so the components, as I said, I will talk a little bit afterwards about our plenary meetings and then the PHI Datacon. So I'll talk to you about PHI Datacon afterwards. Before we go into those 2 components, just to give you an understanding, IDW 2023, which is on the next slide, IDW 2022, is the third in a series in the previous editions. And as you can see from the numbers, and that they were quite well attended events, we purposely, like the RDA plenaries, we choose different regional locations and venues around the globe to facilitate access and interaction and participation from communities, if you like, regional or local, depending on where it is. But in both cases, we had over 800 attendees. Of course, both of those events were physical presence. There was some remote, I think it's best to call it remote access, whereas now this IDW will be hybrid, so it'll be remote participation or virtual participation and in-person presence. So let's see a little bit about what is PHI Datacon. So PHI Datacon, as I said, is organized by CODATA and World Data System. It is an international conference that addresses the frontier issues of data in research. And they have a series of different themes that are focused on. Interestingly enough, they are also coupled with the themes for the plenary sessions of International Data Week. So while this component of the program is organized by CODATA and WDS, and the RDA component of the program is organized by us in the Research Data Alliance, International Data Week is an umbrella event, and we have a series of different plenary and panel discussion sessions looking at those themes as well. So what will happen inside Datacon? It has, as you see there, 7 blocks with about 55 different sessions over the 4 days, looking at different strands and different sessions, so interoperability and data stewardship, etc. And like RDA, they have 7 session blocks with running over the 4 days. And there's a draft program for PHI Datacon already available online if you'd like to see it. And they will run a webinar about more specifically about the PHI Datacon component on the 17th and 18th of May at 6 UTC. Oh, and 16 UTC. They do have 2 different times. So you can, when you get access to the slides, you can register for those, but they're also on the IDW 2022 website, I believe. So what about the Research Data Alliance? So quickly, I think you probably all know about it, but I'm going to say it anyway, that many years ago, in fact, almost 10 years ago, but a bit longer than that, in 2010 to 2012, there were many discussions by funders and other experts across the globe that there was a requirement for a need for a forum where global data professionals, data experts, people grappling with all these open data sharing and reuse challenges, what we now know and talk about as FAIR and open science, they needed a bottom-up, community-driven forum where they could collaborate together on different pieces, if you like, of these challenges. And so in 2013, the Research Data Alliance was born and launched with a vision, a very grand vision, if I may say, of researchers and innovators openly sharing and reusing data across technologies, across disciplines, and across countries to address the grand challenges of society. And I always like to underline there that it's the fact of all technologies, all disciplines and domains, and all countries, because the more we work together, the more we will actually be able to solve and address these grand challenges of society. The more these challenges are addressed in an open and collaborative way, the sooner we will achieve the successes we hope. And of course, our mission, so to get to achieve that vision, the Research Data Alliance wants to build both the social and the technical bridges that enable that vision, if you like, and the open sharing and reuse of data. And of course, the technical part is done through, we have different mechanisms, and three main ones. Of course, the whole community of 12,500 individuals from across the globe. We have a series of organizational members and also regional members in our family, but they work together through working groups, which are quite focused, with a very clear deliverable and goal in mind. Interest groups, which have a broader, if you like, discussion or area, where working groups can be spun off, or specific best practices or guidelines or things can be outcomes of the interest group discussions, and they go on for as long as that discussion or that area of discussion is interesting and active. And then last year we launched communities of practice, which are much larger, if you like, more coordinating internally and externally groups. So maybe you could think of them like a big interest groups, and our community of practice is for the agricultural data. But in addition to the technical, so they're looking at the technical challenges, interoperability, is helping to support the fair and things like that. We also put a lot of emphasis on the social bridges, because we believe that this bringing the community together, allowing people from different disciplines, from different technological, if you like, expertise in different countries to come together, to meet, to build relationships and to work together, enhances and supports trust. It facilitates, of course, the collaboration and achieving these goals that we set. And not just to do the work in RDA, but also there are so many wonderful stories of collaboration between people bilateral and how things have gone on, and of course, friendships. So we are delighted to go back and have some small social component with the face-to-face component of the program in IDW 2022. So in the next slide, Irina, oh yes. One very important thing is, given the nature of the Research Data Alliance, we have 6 very fundamental guiding principles or values, if you like, on which we as an organization and the community as the drivers and the heart of the RDA family work from. And they are of openness, that everything, as much as possible, it's consensus driven, that inclusivity is very important for us in all intents and in all, how would you say, contexts of inclusivity, that there's harmonization, which also means that, you know, we reduce the standards, we don't duplicate the effort by being open, and everything that RDA produces, that the community produces, is available on the website, accessible to all, free of charge. So the idea is to ensure the more open we can be, the less duplication of efforts there are. And of course, non-profit and technology neutral, the outputs from RDA that are produced and made available shouldn't have technology lock-in, they shouldn't have a profit-making purpose. Of course, you can adapt and implement things later in a different way, but what RDA itself as a community produces should not have that. So on those values, then we have plenary meetings, one of our every 6 months since we were launched in 2013. We have held these working meetings, I think. So that's the big difference between PHI Datacon and the Research Data Alliance components. The RDA plenary meetings are discussion times. They are a milestone in the life of those groups, but also for people who aren't involved in the groups from the start to come together and to discuss and to progress the work and to validate it, if you like. And they help us to move forward, and the community to move forward in creating these deliverables and these outputs to make them available to the whole world. So in this particular plenary meeting, in the next slide, Irina. Oh yes, so I just get this is a snapshot, a quick snapshot of the program. But if you go on idw.org under agenda, you will see this lovely colored program. And this is just to show you that those purple blocks are the plenary sessions that I mentioned. So parallel panel discussion, or keynote and panel discussions around different aspects of data to improve our world, if you like. So research and industry and innovation, and the role of the data to address the challenges and things like that. The blue boxes are the PHI Datacon parallel sessions, and the more turquoisey color are the Research Data Alliance ones. So as you can see in the program, they sort of run concurrently, also to allow the participants to go more, listen to the workshop presentations thing, and then come and join areas of interest in our breakout sessions. So that's all online, and there are some networking opportunities too. So I'll move on to the program now, an RDA plenary meeting session. So the first, if you like, the working groups, the interest groups, and the communities of practice, as well as joint group meetings, sessions. So they are, if you like, established already in RDA. They are working towards goals or areas of discussion or whatever. And their meetings are mainly to advance their work, to explore synergies with others, but also to attract new members, to get new insights, to get new topics. And maybe to establish new groups, because discussions come up and it's not the right focus for that group, but we could start something else. And how do you start something else in RDA? Through what we call birds of a feather. So birds of a feather flock together, that's what they say. And so they are meant to gauge the interest in a proposed topic. And then the outcome of that is that they can go, the participants decide they'd like to pursue something through a working group, because there's a very focused output that they would like to achieve, or an interest group because it's a much broader topic, or maybe perhaps it's not an area because it already exists, or it's not mature enough, and that's all fine. So we have about 14 birds of a feather sessions in this plenary, our 19th plenary meeting, and we're always really excited to have birds of a feather, because it's a really good indication as well of the need that RDA, as long as we are needed, we will be here. And the excitement and the wish that the community has. So how do you read the program then? So our program, I'm showing you a snapshot on the right side of the screen there from our, so it's there online at the moment, and we can drop the link into the chat after, but so you can see it now. Obviously we have in this particular breakout session, which is the first that I just took a snapshot of, we have 7. There are 9 sessions running concurrently, and this is the information, and I broke it out into the one with the blue boxes underneath it, so to help a little bit you to read it. So the first, of course, is the type of meeting, and what I mean by that is that anything that's indicated as hybrid will have actual meetings in the plenary with online participation. Okay, so it'll be a hybrid event. There'll be people in the meeting room, but also online, well facilitated. The virtual meetings means that they're only taking place in a Zoom room online. But of course, even if you're physically in the venue and you wish to attend one of those sessions and they're virtual, you just go to one of the quiet areas and you can connect to it. So they're both run, if you like, in the same way. It's that some people will be present and unfortunately many are not able to. And then you see the type of group, so IG, WG, or BOF, birds of a feather. Then you see a little symbol, and for interest groups and working groups, of course, we have symbols to help you understand where they are in their life cycle, if you like. So interest groups with the plus, they are not yet endorsed, or they have already started up their work, but they're not fully, if you like, in the RDA cycle, but progressing towards it. And then if it's a tick, they're established, yes. And for working groups, because they have a more or less an 18-month timeline, sometimes it can be less or more, we use 2 more symbols to say whether they're wrapping up, they're starting to go towards the end, or they're in a maintenance mode, and that means that they have actually delivered something and they are looking after it, or maybe presenting about adoption or looking into new ideas. Then you can link, that's the group status. Of course, the first part that you see in the one that's highlighted here, Elixir Bridging Force IG, that's the link to the group page. So you want to understand what is the group about, what has it done, you go to that link. The last link is the life science data worldwide. In this example, that's the actual meeting for Plenary 19. That's where you'll find the agenda, you'll find the collaboration notes and all the things, yes? So that's openly available now on our website. Of course, to participate at the meetings and things, you need to register and be part of the event, but you can still prepare, if you like, your participation through in this way. Now, we know that navigating the Research Data Alliance is not easy. And some people who come to it new, it's very hard to understand. So in the next slide, we have the pathways. So some time ago, the Technical Advisory Board and the Organizational Advisory Board in the Research Data Alliance came up with this concept of I think they were called swim lanes, and now we call them pathways. But the idea is that the groups themselves, or the meeting conveners, self-select up to 3 of these areas that you see listed as a pathway, so that somebody who goes to the event and is interested in FAIR or CARE principles, or maybe more adoption and deployment aspects, can navigate our plenary meetings according to that content, yes? So on the next slide, I have an example of what that looks like. On the right-hand side, if you click on the link, which we will share with you, the bottom right is the link. On the left-hand side, you see the page more or less looks like that, with these drop-down arrows. And if you click on one, on the right side, that's the example of what you see. Apologies for the resolution, but that's sometimes a Google and PowerPoint problem. But in the example that's being shown, so I clicked on data infrastructures and environments, regional and or disciplinary, and you can see there BO2, so that's breakout session 2. It's a virtual meeting, and they're all the meetings that said that they are looking into aspects of data infrastructures and environments from a disciplinary or a regional perspective. And so we found that these pathways are very valuable, and we strongly suggest that you use them, and they will actually appear, the keywords, in Hoover at a later date when we get closer to the event. But both the pathways and the program are now available on the RDA website. And I think, Irina, that's me. And it's now over to you.
Thank you very much, Hilary. So as mentioned, I am going to go through the events registration and the virtual platform. As previously noted, International Data Week is a hybrid conference for the first time ever, and therefore there are 2 registration options available, physical and online. Virtual component of the conference will be run on the online platform Hoover. It's a very user-friendly, simple platform that offers live sessions, attendees engagement, and social networking. For your convenience, post a session will be held on the same platform. So the on-site part of the conference will be held at the capital of the Republic of Korea, Seoul. The Dragon City conference venue was selected as the venue complex for this event. It is located next to a major transport link in Seoul, the largest metropolis of South Korea, and offers easy access to all central districts. You can see from the slide that the conference venue is a very modern, with spacious conference rooms accommodating from hundreds to thousands of people under one roof. So these pictures are example of rooms where the event will be held. So what is the difference between online and on-site participation? We are offering remote and on-site attendance. Both of them include various ticket types, starting from early bird to reduced student rate. We are also delighted to offer reduced ticket fees for low middle income countries attendees this year. You can see from the slide what each ticket type includes. So apart from standard elements for on-site attendance, such as full access to online components, recordings, catering, and a delegate pack, It also includes a welcome reception on day 1 and a gala dinner on the last night. The virtual ticket includes access to all virtual event components to the 4-day conference and all recordings. And now you can see the cost for on-site and remote participation. You still have time to purchase a discounted ticket under the early bird fee type and save a few $100s. It will be available until 31st of May, so don't miss your chance. You might wonder how you can pay. The International Data Week offers a few globally recognized payment options, which you can see on the screen. The most common are a credit debit card, international PayPal platform, or a bank transfer. If your organization does not use these methods of payment, an invoice can be issued. You'll need to get in touch with the local hosts via an email you see on your screen, and they will be happy to assist. I should also mention the cancellation policy. Considering current global travel challenges, the cancellation is pretty flexible. So should you wish to cancel your registration, you can do so by notifying the local hosts via the email on the screen by the 12th of June. So the registration process, how do you actually register? You can see there are a few steps listed, and I will now run through them. First of all, you will need to proceed to the International Data Week official website, as you can see on the screen, and I will go there with you. Just bear with me a moment. So a pop-up banner appears to remind you of the early bird ticket deal. I will close it for now. On the top menu panel, everything you need to know is under the registration. I will click on it now, and a guide with simple steps is provided. So those wishing to attend the conference will need first to create an account on this page. As I already got an account created, my details are on the system. So I will show you how it will look like. So it's a basic form with my details already provided on the system, which you'll need to fill out and submit. I will cancel it for now and close and simply log into the system with my details. Close it again, and I will go to registration. So at the end of the page, you will see a registration button. Please simply click on it. You will need to fill the form with general information as shown with my example, and select what ticket type you're going to purchase. The categories over here and attendance, whether it's on-site or virtual, and proceed to the payment. And once the form is complete and payment has been dealt with, you will get an email confirmation once the registration is confirmed. I'm now going back to my slides. Moving forward, I would like to give you more details about the Hoover platform itself. So Hoover was used for previous plenary meetings and was selected as the best platform for this conference. As mentioned earlier, every attendee is required to register for the Plenary 19 as a part of International Data Week 2. Access Hoover. You'll receive simple steps to create an account if you don't have one. I will show you now how it will look like. So I will Hoover page. Just bear with me, it's redirecting me. It's taking some time. So I will sign in. And this is how Hoover will look like, the main page. So you can now add your personal information by clicking on your name, my profile, and going through a list of some questions. So once done, you can go back by clicking on Home button. And I will now show to you the main menu option. So on the left-hand side, you'll have everything you will need to know. Agenda, sessions, speakers, posters, attendees, and messages. And going back on the right-hand side, you will see all announcements made by organizers during the event. You can also participate in any new discussion groups and topics. Where and how to see the program itself. So by navigating to agenda, sessions, you will see everything you will need to know. So all sessions for International Data Week and Research Data Alliance Plenary 19 are going to be here. For example, if I go to the first plenary, you will see the name, the details, when it's going to be run, timing, and number of attendees. You can also add it to my agenda by simply clicking on it and selecting your calendar. I should also mention that Hoover is still in the process of building up. So more session details with links to each group session will be available very soon. You might ask yourself how to join a session. Again, at this stage, I'm afraid I cannot show you the exact way of doing so. However, to join a meeting, you will have a button, join the stream, under each name of a session. So you will need to simply click on it and it will redirect you to a Zoom application. If you don't have Zoom application, you'll need to launch it. Otherwise, it will start automatically. In terms of timing, I would also mention that by default, the system will be set to show the agenda times in coordinated universal time. And so to, as you can see now, UTC in brackets. And so to switch to a local time, please click on this button and it will change it automatically. Moving forward, you can view a list of all speakers of the main conference and the plenary panelists and keynote speakers and the speakers menu. If a speaker provided their contact details, you can message them, view their profile by simply clicking on this button and send a message, or check the details, biography, and everything what's been provided. As I mentioned previously, a poster exhibition session will be held on Hoover, which is very convenient. There is currently only one test poster available, as the planning is still in progress with the platform. All posters will be listed here, and you will be able to click on any to see a picture with a big screen, and also contact authors, view their profile, and again, send a message. Posters will always be available on Hoover throughout the event. Moving forward, attendees, this is where you can view the participant list. All attendees who registered for the event are going to be listed here alphabetically. And again, it's very easy to message anyone you would like to, or view their profile. By clicking on Community Board, we'll give you access to organizers' announcements and the forum to post questions for the organizers. You can also create a new conversation topic by simply add topic, and anyone can join it. Messages, this is where you will receive and can send messages to and from attendees by simply create a new message. So this is the end of the platform overview. Just bear with me a minute. I will go back to my slides. A simple question you may have, how to contact us. So for any questions or issues related to the Plenary 19, please contact us directly via the email you see on your screen. And you can also message the organizers in Hoover under Ask Organizers Anything, as I previously shown in the community board. and we will be able to see it and respond. And also there is a link to all information you need to know about Plenary 19. And lastly, for any travel guide accommodation, you can visit the official International Data Week website, as will be shown on the last slide. We were also notified about local travel information. If you would like to find out more of what to see or do in Seoul, you can contact our local host via an email on the screen and get some advice. But additionally, more information on travel will be available for public soon on the main International Data Week website. You will see it also in the news as well. We will share it. So that's all I had to say, and hopefully you found it useful. We now have some time left for questions and answers. So if you have any, please do ask us.
Thank you, Irina. Wonderful. If there are any questions, I see Dimitri did send a question in the thing. I hope it's answered. And you're more than welcome to. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the possibility for a late poster submission. I will try.
So the posters, Dimitri, we didn't talk much about them because but they will be both virtual and in presence. So anyone they will all appear on the Hoover platform, and then those who are physically present, we will be printing their posters, and there will be some poster exhibition networking sessions, yes, during the actual event. So because we do appreciate that people who wish to travel to thing or get some visibility like to do that through posters. Françoise, do you not have any questions?
Actually, can I ask another one? When you submit a poster, do you submit it to a particular session, or it's just a general pool for all the mixed? Yeah,
so our poster session is, if you like, about different areas, of course, and we ask where the relevance is for RDA and for the community. But it is not, they're not specifically themed. Mm-hmm. Because it's very hard in RDA. As you saw, it's so difficult, the navigation of RDA to how would you say, cluster or categorize the posters would be impossible. But yes, so yeah, you don't need to put it into a thing. I think we'll send you an email with the different fields. The form is now closed, so we need to, we'll be notifying the poster applicants this Friday, but I gave you a slightly longer deadline, but we will have to be strict with the, you'll get some instructions after that. We'll have to be strict with the PDF submission for timing and planning purposes.
As far as I understood, I should send a PDF by the 27th of May, right?
Yes, but you do have to send in we'll give you a few fields like name, authors, the description, mm-hmm. And they will, if you can provide those by email to us at the Secretariat, we will then, if you can have those by, I think I said close of business on Monday, so we can include you in our list and just cross-check, because we don't want commercial, as you said, it's non-profit and technology neutral, so we need to do some checking of the posters content, and then we will send you the instructions.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I make a comment about the poster session? I am one of the co-leads of RDA France, and we try to organize a debriefing discussion after the plenaries with the French participants. And last time there was really extremely good feeling of the participants about the poster session. Although it was remotely and so on, people were really happy. And they voted, they looked at the posters, they voted, they complained because there was no full set of very easily recorded posters to store on their computer and so on. So I can tell you But I would like to tell the colleagues who are here that the poster session, wherever you are on the site, which we have known before, or offline, it's really something which is meaningful. It works well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Françoise. And yes, I'm going to read out Dominique's question because we're recording, but Dominique asked if those attending on site also have access to Hoover, and absolutely, yes. Because of course, that's how you get into the program and get all the Zoom links. That's to avoid Zoom bombing and things like that. It's also because not just RDA, but also PHI Datacon, we run, you know, breakout sessions that have concurrent meetings taking place. And so you want to be able to access them afterwards, maybe wait for the recordings or just go in and see the notes or who's attending. So full access, whether you're on site or virtual, through the Hoover platform for all our registered participants.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay. Any more questions? Or otherwise we can wrap it up.